written descriptions of what it said.
Did you hear that?
The question, please.
He was saying that when you go to the Regents meeting, it's not videotaped, so that you can't see what's really going on afterwards if you don't attend the meeting. You have to go there and experience the dispiriting nature of one of those things, and that it should be taped, and as he was saying, you should be able to watch the faces of the Regents. You have to be there to understand the total disengagement of them, their boredom and their disinterest with the public. When we say that they're not accountable, the best way to get that idea is to watch their faces, particularly as they're reading their newspapers and their BlackBerries while the public is speaking at them.
We have a comment over here.
As much as I agree with more transparency, and that implies somewhat of a like more personal bent to the whole thing, I can't agree with getting that personal and like, I don't know, tar and feathering people. It's an institution, not a personal attack, and it's also not about changing like any kind of capitalist system that's going on. We're not saying we need to take away their 6 mansions. We're just saying that we want money too to fund the stuff that we care about. So I mean, everyone has a right to their own money, and so do we, and that's what we're arguing about. So it has to be a fight against the institution, not against certain people. And I just think that like getting personal gives the whole debate kind of like just a bad edge, a tinge that sticks around.
Well, in my book, Imperial San Francisco, she was saying that she disagrees that we shouldn't get personal about this, but in my book, Imperial San Francisco, I got personal because I think you have to, first off, you have to tell stories, because people like stories. If you just write a book that's theoretical, it's going to have a very small audience. And I wanted a lot of people to read it. Unfortunately, a lot of people have. So I like to tell stories, and the stories are about people. And the people tell you, if you look at them in depth, they tell you how the system works. Why is it that the United States has now a greater gulf of economic disparity than any time since the 20s, perhaps since the 1890s? We're going backward. It's because of the way that people like Regent Blum and his wife, in fact, jimmy the system. They game the system to their own advantage. You have to understand how that works.
I thought he hated poverty.
He does hate poverty, yes. Other people's poverty, yes. No, these people are getting money. Russell Gould, for example, the chairman of the Regents that Blum apparently designated, was a vice president at Wachovia, now a vice president at Wells Fargo, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if he is managing the portfolio of student loans, among other things. So when you begin looking at the system, you have to understand, for example, that there are these conflicts of interest that should not be permitted, because they are why there is this great disparity, why there is this poverty. Yeah.
I think at the same time you have to look at how ironic it is when people have a number of mansions or a certain salary, like over $800,000, and it gets political when you take it to students' lives and see what families are losing their own homes, or what student parents aren't able to come to school anymore, or what student population we're cutting out with our cutbacks of enrollment or our increase of tuition. And it becomes very personal for each student attending or not able to attend the university. And I think at that we need to come back with the personal and say, well, if we're making these cuts on ourselves and our lives and our families, you know, where are we going to sacrifice with each other?
Yes, absolutely.
I thought I saw a comment over here.
I was thinking that when you want to change an institution, you have to approach the institution and the persons, because it's always the persons that are doing it. They're using the institution as their tool. So you have to work with the tool and the person. You have to be inclusive. That are subjective.
Okay. All right. We just had a comment, and as I understand it, you were saying that the personal and the institution are inseparable, and so you have to really approach them both. You have to really understand how the system works, and of course, that's one of the reasons that I hope you come here to UC Berkeley, because you can't learn that. Certainly, if you're watching television.
Okay. I saw a few comments over here. Please speak up. I just wanted to say that, you know, it is important not to be uncivil, and I think that it's great to, you know, try and be as civil as possible, but if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention to what's happening and to what people are doing and how we're being taken advantage of. And you have to just, you know, be outraged sometimes. You just have to do that, and you have to really study what's going on. And then I just wanted to go back to what you were saying about the military-industrial complex. In the 1960s, the ROTC, people protested against its presence on campus. And I don't know if that's happening anymore, and I don't know how much presence the ROTC has on our campus, but I would just wonder if anyone knows anything about that. And, yeah. Did everyone hear that? She said, if you're not outraged, you're not paying enough attention. It's also important to be civil. And she raised a question about the military involvement on this campus, and if anyone knows if the ROTC has a strong presence on this campus. Are there any responses to that? No? Yeah?
Well, San Francisco Public Schools has had a huge battle about JROTC, and the number of minority students in the public schools over there is huge. And they found a way to make it kind of ROTC, kind of not ROTC, but you know, basically if you look at ROTC, those supervising officers are paid very well. Those kids are very young. I went to high schools like this, and it's not a matter of civil or personal. You have to understand class interest. I think that's the beauty of Gray's research. So I have one other specific example, and I'll personally put myself, I'm the mother of a regent in 2000. I went to regent meetings. I observed the same thing Gray did. It's a country club. Our money wines and dines them. I didn't hear anybody talk about education. So there's a new regent who came on, Greg Marcus. I call him the new Walter Shorenstein. And my girlfriend, who I wish she was here, she has fought him for 4 or 5 years to appropriate UC land, the Berkeley Agricultural Research Station in San Jose, 17 acres next to Santana Row, prime luxury condo development, okay? She's fought him. They have just deposed her legally by